The one point which I'd like to make is that Gurukul education is something which is irreplaceable in our society. We have many different types of education which are all wonderful, and we've been hearing about all of them over the course of the past 3 days, which has been very nice, especially for me because I'm here most of the time and don't get the opportunity to hear about all the different educational initiatives which are going on in our society. But out of all those different initiatives, Gurukul education has a very special place. It serves a particular function which no other kind of education serves. And so the fact that at this point in our society, Gurukul education has been very much put a little bit to the side, it's not very popular. And of course there are many historical reasons for that, which are very understandable. But at the same time, I want to present some reasons why the time has come for us to try to put Gurukul education back in the place that Srila Prabhupada put it in his teachings. Srila Prabhupada many times said that Gurukul is one of our most important projects in this movement, and it should be given all serious consideration by the members. And when Prabhupada spoke about education, generally he was speaking about Gurukul education. That was his main focus, at least in terms of educating children. That was in his letters, in his lectures, in his books. That's what he speaks about. And so there are a few things specifically which I'd like to highlight that Gurukul does which are very unique. One of the things which Gurukul does, which is very unique, is that it prepares devotees to be future leaders for our society and for the world. Gurukul education is not an industrial system of education which is training people to go to the factory or training people to work at a desk job or to work at your average, salary wage job. Gurukul is preparing people who are meant to go and become the leaders of the world. And Prabhupada says that very specifically in one quote. He says that this Gurukul is the perfect system. It should be revived to create the leaders who know what is the welfare of the citizens. And so in that way, both for our society and for the world at large, Gurukul education is needed to prepare leaders. And the way how Gurukul education does that is because basically anything which you want to learn, you learn it by practicing, and everybody knows that. If you want to learn multiplication tables, you practice your multiplication tables. There's no shortcut. When I was about 8 or 9, that was something which I didn't really want to accept, and as a consequence it took me a long time to learn my multiplication tables because I wanted a shortcut. I didn't want to sit there practicing them all the time, but it didn't work like that. And so in the same way, when you want to develop something like leadership, there's no shortcut to doing that. There's no way that you can sit in a classroom and develop leadership skills or develop the character of a leader. The way how you do that is by actually taking responsibility for people, for services, for getting things done, and doing that work. And so the Gurukul system of education which we have is very, very unique in that it actually does that. We have a school here in Mayapur where literally the whole school is run by the students. Every day all of our meals are cooked by the boys. We have a Goshala where all the cows are taken care of by the boys. We have many, many acres of land where the agriculture, all the crops are grown by the boys. The whole management of the school, all of the 80 kids that are there in the school, what they're doing all day, all the services they're doing to take care of the school, that's all managed by the boys. The older boys take care of the younger boys. We have a hierarchy. There's a head boy who oversees everything. There's group leaders, each of whom has a group of 5 or 6 boys that they're taking care of and engaging in service. And so in that way, literally the entire school is being led and managed by the students under the supervision of the teachers. But the people who are actually doing the leadership is the students. And the reason why that's there is not because the teachers can't do it. It's because for us to be able to train leaders, we need to be engaging our youth in leadership. And that is an area where Gurukul education excels, where no other kind of education can quite catch up. Because Gurukul education is not a classroom-based environment, although of course classroom is there and classroom learning is there and all the regular academics are also there, but Gurukul is a full lifestyle. Which is why the definition of Gurukul given in Srimad Bhagavatam is Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanta or Gurohitam Acharan Dasava Nicha Gurau Sudra Dasauhradaha. And it specifically mentions that the Brahmachari lives in the home of the Guru. And living there is important because you can't convey all those values in a 6-hour school day. Because the values that a child has are what he does when he leaves school, when he leaves the classroom and goes home. What is actually important to a person is what they do when they have free time, when they don't have to be sitting and studying in the classroom. And so if you have a values class in a classroom, but you don't look at what the person is doing when they go out of the classroom, then you can't assess whether or not values are actually being inculcated. And so Gurukul education has a very unique role to play in the future of our society. And right now we're dealing with a problem of succession. As we all know, the GBC is discussing this, everybody's worrying about this. We need a succession plan for our movement, and the succession plan for our movement is Gurukul. That's Srila Prabhupada's succession plan. That's the succession plan which he's given to us. If we train our youth to be leaders, then we will have leaders in the future. If we do not do that, then we won't have leaders for the future of our movement. Thank you.